Okay, everyone out there in the land of YouTube, we are live again. See what we got going on this weekend after the holiday season. Uh, how everybody fared through Thanksgiving, getting prepped and ready for whatever's going to happen here. And Christmas is right around the corner. There we go. Morning, Tim. So we all got through Black Friday, even went to Costco. My wife wanted to pick up some food items that were on sale. And generally, every time you go there on Black Friday, it's like they have the TVs, at least the one I go to. All the giant TVs are right by the front door, and it's like insanity trying to get into place. I guess people weren't buying TVs this year. And also, the Battlefield curator, he went and made a Black Friday thing about all the surplus guns that are available, which there are a lot of them. If they're all mostly handguns. A few either Swiss rifles or I think Carcanos are still for sale somewhere out on the internet. But hmm, eating those holiday nuts, getting my teeth. Um, but yeah, he covered a bunch of guns, and everything was under $5. So there's a lot of things out there, but like he said, they're not really having a special per se just on Black Friday like they used to, because he goes, they've lowered the prices and had a sale on these items since like April, or. So yeah, he didn't kind of see that. Same with the ammo. I think one place would, and they're kind of high to begin with, they'd knock $20 off a case for Black Friday, 1,000 rounds of ammo on certain ones. But yeah, there were no bargains there. And fooling around with my retro gun, I went and got all the correct, the switch, the bolt catch, and everything for the 601. That set me back a bit. And people were getting uh, a lot of money for them particular parts. Granted, they're not manufactured anywhere other than one place, I guess, or one individual. But as the fad kind of goes away, it started 6 years ago. If you watch the videos uh, with Brownells, and it lasted about 2 3 years. They couldn't sell the things; sales sucked, so they stopped. Then Nodak Spud was the guy making all the lower receivers of the different types and shapes, and I think uppers also. Somehow he got together with PSA and they did the H&R line. And actually, that stuff, I'm using their product. This stuff's pretty good. It ain't cheap, but it's pretty good replica, or to make a retro gun, period correct. They're pretty much there, more or less. I don't know if that's going to fade out over time or what. Um, but yeah, it ain't cheap. It's fun. It's neat. It's something fun to fool around with, but it's no bargain discount AR. Put it to you that way. Also, another thing, I was hoping to get some more. Wait till we get some more people. We only got 5 viewers at the moment. Um, I opened up a MeWe page. Uh, it was quite 4 years ago. Yeah, 21 or something. I opened it up. I had private too. I had the account like on Facebook. I had two private things. One was Koba's refugee camp, and the other one was Carcano marksman, because Carcanos were hot then. Everybody was buying them. So these were private groups you had to join. The only way, and I think it was $3 or $4 a month you had to pay MeWe. So it's kind of, I don't know if you can post on there without paying and being a member or whatever. I have no idea how it works. But I set up these two private groups. And the key was we could say whatever we want. And even though they don't, I just checked it out, they don't have a way to upload videos. So the only thing I can do is upload a video or put a link to one that I have somewhere on YouTube. Okay. The idea was to be in a place where we could discuss or show videos of building ARs or guns, which that's questionable on YouTube. Also, casting bullets. All my videos of casting bullets have been taken down. Okay. They've been up there for years. It falls under making ammunition. But the one thing about MeWe, and the reason I opened it for the guys, was if you wanted to buy, sell, or trade things, like reloading dies, gun parts, whatever, stuff that doesn't need an FFL, holsters, bayonets, or even antique guns. Okay, you could without getting removed. There's no, they don't restrict that as long as it abides by the laws. As long as you're not doing nothing illegal. And it kind of took off for a while, but then PayPal burned me because a lot of people used to send me support and do stuff through PayPal. And now PayPal has rewritten the rules that are pretty specific. If you're collecting X amount of money out of there, okay, which basically if you hit a K or something, accumulative, and also even if they're sending you money, friends and families, when you go over $600, you're going to get a 1099 this year. Okay, so a lot of these, like I sold a bunch of coins. I may have gotten my ass burned. I may have, because it was $5,000, 2024. It's 2,500 this year, which I sold a bunch of coins or something. And then also, and same with eBay. That's another thing, not so much PayPal, but eBay. After this year, you got 2,500 you could have sold, which I don't know if I hit that. I sold a sword and a bunch of stuff, basically edge weapons and things on eBay. But yeah, you'll get taxed. So electronic payments, okay, ain't good. So yeah, I set that up. So, like there's one guy had a whole bunch of dies he was trying to sell. He bought a collection of them. And, you guys PM each other and, take care of it. But I guess it fell by the wayside. And there's one fellow that stuck with it after, I mean, my posts weren't like, they're 3 years old. This guy goes, there's somebody trying to take over your groups, which I don't think so. Because ain't nobody posted or done anything. And if you don't post anything, they go inactive. And they're just not on the list no more. Okay, the group is there. It's just inactive. I'm still the owner. Okay, you can't close it, shut it out, or nothing. And so I kind of reactivated them both. Matter of fact, check on that now. See what we got going down. Yes. So put something up there. Got one thumbs up. And on the refugee camp, I have 123 members. On the Carcano Marksman page, I have 111 members, and there were 3 of them queued up and waiting, so I took them fellas on board. But it's open again, and if you guys want to chat, talk to each other or whatever, uh, I guess you can do it on there because people were doing that for a long time after I stopped fooling with it. Um, yeah, people would talk with one another and talk about what they bought and what type of guns they've added to their collections and that. And what's his name? Navy vet, whatever. He was the one that the last posted something on the Carcano page. Um, but it was to where you could say things, say prices. Like even here, they censor what you say, or somebody's watching it, or you can't pick something up or do anything with a line. I understand why. Because not so much YouTube has a whole diverse bunch of individuals in the world out there on there, and I can understand why some of their rules are the way they are. Okay, because you get some weird individuals, you know. See, fortunately, keeping these chats with a low number, if I'm like at 24 or something, I don't get uh, people jamming up the comments and doing strange stuff. When I used to get like 60, 70, 80 people in the chat, that's when I guess when the chat gets big, there's a way it pops up somehow. And then I started getting all these bizarre things coming up and people harassing the hell and just blocking up the comment section and that. So actually, at my age, I like a little quieter, a little slower. Keeps the blood pressure down. Get aggravated. But anyway, the MeWe thing is up. I'll see. Maybe I'll try because that's pretty neat. I can schedule stuff that people still are getting notices. I don't know because I haven't even. I put several posts up and it's not registering on there that posts are being made. No, 27. Yeah, new post. It's not showing it. But members, photos of these events. Can have an event on a calendar, schedule post, settings, group category. I don't know. But yeah, I'll see if I can revive it. Maybe, maybe not. But at least, we can go there and I guess what's his name, Megabait, can freely speak. There's a whole bunch of people, 100 some members. It's all the guys that follow me on YouTube, basically. And there's a couple local fellows at my gun range that they follow me on YouTube, but he was the one that told me about the MeWe, and you can do this, that, and the other thing, and not get thrown off the site for it. And that was the main reason that I kind of did it. And the Carcano one, that was a hot topic. There was a lot of activity on it. A lot of people basically asking me questions about the guns and stuff. And I tell them, buy this friggin' book. One of them was only like about $50. The other one was kind of odd. Buy the book. It's all explained. If you read the whole book, I mean, you just don't buy it and just stare at it. You got to go from front to the back and read it. And when you read it, you'd have a pretty good knowledge of Carcano rifles and everything else. But who reads books nowadays, right? Yeah. I wouldn't be getting 800 emails. Or some people describe a gun that, what model is it? And I said, unfortunately, it's not any model. It's a carbine with a long rifle straight bolt put on a cut down stock. You don't have a certain model Carcano. You have an assembly of Carcano parts that you may be able to fire. And I remember I sat there and I called the guy on the phone, explained this to him. He gave me all these measurements. And, did he send me any support, or tip, or help, or nothing? No. So I kind of stopped doing that. I used to help people out, go out of my way. And then, they just don't know what the hell they're doing. And when you tell them that, they get pissed off. And then that's that. So, yeah, I'll tell you what reference book to buy now. And you can become an expert on your own. Well, it's like anything, especially with guns. You should know something about the firearms before you get them. I guess the most dangerous thing is somebody that doesn't know how to use a gun or knows nothing about them that gets them. That's when these panic buying things, when you see people that do not have a clue or never handled a firearm rushing out to buy, Glocks. Everything's Glocks, ARs, or shotgun. And that's why the ammo, 9mm ammo is dirt cheap. You can get 1,000 rounds for about a little over $200 and several different brands, not just, steel case crap. Shotgun shells have come down. It used to be over $1 a piece, double out buck. Now I got a couple cases on the floor here. I mean, you fire it, it hits where it's supposed to. I sold some to my buddies, like I buy by the case and then, split it up a bit. And then we get it. Everybody has a few boxes. But yeah, and when you go to the gun show, that's what I noticed for years. That's why I kind of stopped going. You didn't see really any mil surplus. You didn't really see a lot of nice hunting rifles or shotguns. It's all home defense stuff. Every table has every model of Glock known to man and all the top brands. Springfield Armory, Smith & Wessons, all the top polymer handgun brands, a whole assortment of them. All kinds of pump defensive shotguns and AR-15s. That was it. That's why I kind of stopped going to gun shows. They had two of them this weekend, actually now, today. One was in Winston-Salem, and then they have one down in Lexington, which is a nicer show. It's a bigger show. There's more dealers there because they like the guy that does this. It's an old mall, and I guess he has the rights to rent the hall out or the big space out. And it was kind of like Greensboro. He does it twice a year. He has two of these shows. They're quite large. But again, yeah, there's a ton of dealers there. There's a whole assortment of stuff. Prices are sky high on everything. And the last time I went there was late last year. I don't think I went down to the one in the spring. But again, C&E schedules a show, the other promoter, which nobody goes to. So that show in Winston's going to be dead. And from what I've seen with Black Friday, people are broke. People don't have money. So you're not going to see them beating a door down to buy anything, even if it's sale price. Because a lot of the online places, these salesmen are like Atlantic Firearms. I should have waited, but whenever those Star pistols come up, okay, generally they sell out fairly quick. And they got them now. They've knocked $20-$30 off them. And I ain't gonna cry. It ain't like half price, but it's a bit less than what the hell I paid for it. But what are you gonna do? They even have Polish P64s. I thought they pretty much dried up. And then I guess wherever they're getting the Czechs must be dumping the VZ70s. They're all over the place. And they're under $300. They used to be more because I paid 3.5 for one, and I ended up selling it to a guy for 3 about 6, 7 months ago. It didn't quite work right, and now they got them for under 3. You know, but the 70s, I guess it's hit or miss. You get some of them, the thing didn't feed right, and that's with ball ammo. It wasn't with hollow point stuff. And it was kind of beat up. The magazine was a little messed up, and the spring thing was broke off. I thought because the spring was screwed up, could have had a bad mag. I put a mag in from the VZ50, and it seemed to kind of solve the problems, but it was kind of a thing where you had to polish the feed ramp or screw with it or something. So, all right. We're up to a big 13, 14 viewers. All right. But anybody out there hit a Black Friday special? You know, found a Colt Gold Cup for a couple $100 in a used rack or something. But yeah. So I got to see if the MeWe page can be revived or if I'm just wasting my time. I'm paying about $5 a month or something to keep that up. And I really don't know if I'm getting notifications. Gonna check this. And where are my settings? Boom. Settings. Got a badge. Username, password. Free. Subscriptions, privacy, notifications and alerts. Desktop notifications. Email notifications are on. Enable. There we go. All right, now I've set my notifications so I can get them. All right, let's see if that changes it. See if the receive group alerts, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Okay, that's all good there. We'll see, I guess. All right, how's it going? Good morning. I don't leave the house on blank. I did that for years. I did it last year and bought 2 guns, a 22 and a shotgun, and that was about it. Let's see. Academy Sports. Yeah, 150. When they first come out, I think the MSRP on that was like about 3 or 3.25. They were selling, I've seen them when they brought them out to the SHOT Show that year. Ruger left with a year and a half's worth of production pre-orders, and they were the hardest thing to get. That's why we had a 380 shortage. The ammunition companies didn't make a lot of 380, and once these pocket 380s became popular, you couldn't find 380 auto ammo. The guns were outrageous, and I believe I waited a year and a half, and I bought one for $310 and thought it was a deal. Okay. I had that, and that's what those things were, and that was back quite a few years. You know, I've been a hell. My parents were alive because I remember telling my dad about buying it. It had to be, I don't know how long they've been in production, 10 years or something like that. Um, but yeah, that's what they cost, and even that little 380 auto that Taurus made, the 386 or three. So it was the smallest 380 made. I bought one of them. That was $325. I ended up selling it used at the holster for just about that. I had a nice holster on there, threw that in with the deal, concealable holster, and they stopped me. And the reason I sold it is to get money to buy a Spectrum. I should have never got rid of that little gun. Now, if you see them come up used in auctions, they still carry a value. But it's like the Rugers, okay? Another popular gun, made millions of them. Now you can get one brand new for 1.5. A gun half the price of what it was when it came out. New. That's the thing where your guns depreciate. Not only did the used guns depreciate in value, how's it going? You know, because that was another thing during the panics. Uh, is you bought a gun during a panic, and then a year went by, and he said, maybe I'll sell this, get something else, and you find out a brand new one is way less. Megabay, glad you're here. I got a question. Were you a member of one of my groups on MeWe uh, all those years ago when we used to go there to the refugee camp and the Carcano thing? I think you were. Yes, hello from Finland. A little cold up there? All right, so we got somebody got a special. Yeah, I looked up that gun. It's not a inexpensive bargain basement weapon that you're getting with 4 free mags. Okay, that sounds cool. See, what's the name here? Just said he got an LCP for 100.5. Now I remember when they came out, that they were so expensive when they first came out that I waited a year and a half till I can get one for a little over 3, and now they're selling brand new for half the price. It's you know, and what that does is when you talk to a person that doesn't really know a lot about guns, like this one woman said that she was thinking of getting a gun, and she would go to the sporting goods stores and she wanted like a little 380, and they said no, it's not good enough. You want a compact 9, because a compact 9 is going to cost more than the 380. Okay. And a lot of that, I said, the 380, I said, are you going to be shooting at people across the street? I said, the 380s, and I said, how much handgun shooting do you do? Okay. A compact 9 is good, and he's right, it's got more knockdown power, but do you shoot a lot of handguns? Do you understand the recoil? Are you skilled at it? The 380 would be better as a start. But a lot, it's like everyone says the chrome line barrels and an AR suck. You should get the nitrated ones, they're much better. That's because they're a lot cheaper, okay, and keep the price of the gun down. I think a lot of this stuff, these influencers will tell you something about a gun, and it's just so they can sell a product that's more cost effective and convince you it's better. aim and center fire. Is it that check stuff uh, that you're talking about? Because I remember you bought something from somewhere else other than Royal Tiger, and it is a different box and that, which companies change the boxes so you can date whatever the hell is in there. That ain't gonna happen because 22 is more popular. People will buy 22s before they buy 380 because of the ammunition cost. So that's a different type of customer. Um, I don't know, carrying a 22 concealed carry. I did back in the day. They were cheaper, they were smaller, but I don't know. I got the compact 9, and that's it, or a 380. But 22, yeah, S&B mill syrup. Okay, yeah. So, well, it's all S&B. It just depends when it was made. It's stuff Royal Tiger selling was made back in the 90s, I believe, because I was looking at the crates, and I think the date said sometime in the 90s. So 30 years. And then again, you don't know where it's been stored. Or they're just dumping stocks of old ammo they got lying around. Yeah, well that makes sense. Now you're talking like a sane person. Okay, you don't give somebody a micro Uzi as a defensive handgun that's never used a gun before. Uh, but unfortunately, you see a lot of people that don't use common sense when it comes to a lot of things. And there's a lot of hype because you go out there, it's like with the retro guns. When Brownells come out with them, all these videos of all these retro guns were all done 6 years ago. So all these channels, these guys are influencers. They did not buy these very expensive firearms. They were given these very expensive firearms and allowed to shoot them and generally give a very positive opinion, probably given the ammunition too. Unlike me, that I think with this last round of testing, I spent just about 300 and some dollars just in buying one or two boxes of all the different brands of ammo, just to see. And the thing is, I'm kind of glad I did it because it narrowed down my choices on what to buy a case of. You know, and I did run the ammunition through like 4 different guns. So I know how kind of some of the stuff works pretty good in others, and I kind of average it out of what worked good and what twist rate and everything. And basically, the Winchester USGI stuff worked real good in the appropriate rifles. Okay, in 223, I'm talking about. That's why I run a whole gambit of it. And some of the ammo, surprisingly, that MKE out of Turkey. So I bought some of that, fired it. My one gun, it didn't like it, and I stayed away from it. But it friggin' worked pretty good, and a couple other rifles, more than so. There was a couple of them that over the 4 guns, that one kept coming up first or second. So that's kind of how I eliminated it. Center fire systems. Let's take a look at that. Bulk ammo. Yeah, I see it. I did look at it. Packed in wooden crates. Crate stamped 483. Okay. That's, I'm not going to tell you. Yeah, but 83, that's 40 years. Ammunition, the military keeps it 20 years. And after that, they get rid of it. And you can probably keep it another, because I bought some stuff back in the 80s that must have been outdated or whatever. And the stuff worked fine. Okay. Going on 30 years after it was made. But then some of that 8 millimeter, I've taken it out now. All of that stuff when I bought like 2 cases of the stuff. I fired a ton of it. But now I still have, I don't know, maybe 300 rounds left, maybe not that 200. And I take it out now in a KR98, and half of it don't go off. And it's been stored in the house and climate controlled in a 50 caliber ammo can with a good seal on it. It just over time the stuff does break down. There's just no way around it. That's why when they're selling you stuff from the 30s and World War II, yeah, granted, that fulminated mercury primers, they'll go off 100 years from now, you know. But I start getting leery of stuff that was because that box looked, but they're honest with you. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, the cheap stuff for practicing's fine. Yeah, I always kind of wanted one. There's a company, they make a 3D printed blower somewhere down here in Charlotte, North Carolina, which cuts the cost down quite. And the guy will build them from a kit for you, some automatic version of them. I was thinking of going with that because I've always wanted one too. I remember getting, when the kits had the barrels and everything, they're only like $100. But see, the thing is, when them kits were available, nobody was making a commercial receiver. Okay, and if they were hard to find. Like I had a couple FNFAL kits that I would have loved to build. They were in great shape, but it was like after I sold the kits, like 4 or 5 years after, I walked into a gun shop and they had the damn receivers from wherever they were made. I mean, it's like they all dried up. Nobody was making them, so it was a pain. Yeah, 25 round. Yeah, I mean, if it's been stored properly and that, not a problem. Could be because there's several companies that there's one that's making his Taiwanese rifle. Ian had it on there, and they were selling kits and like these retro guns. If you buy an M1A1, a U.S. made kit, them kits go for what the price of one of the factory assembled Harrington and Richardson clones that PSA selling. And that's a kit. You got to outsource the barrel, maybe the lower receiver, yeah, the lower receiver, the barrel, all that stuff, and you got to pin that sucker on a barrel unless you get a clone barrel, which those are getting hard to find. I was looking for one, just a pencil barrel, gray with the sight net attached. Can't find them. Not in 1 and 12. They're sold out. And see, that's why this next build I'm doing it in black because I found a barrel, pencil barrel, that M1A1 barrel, okay, whatever you want to call it. It's in black and it's 1 and 7 chrome line bore. So that's why I'm going to kind of vary. I'm not going to make like this last one, the 601. I went to every detail. Next one, uh, because M1A1, to me, that's not desirable to me. I want something that's older and weirder than that. But I guess the popular gun, that's what Brownell said out of all their retros, it was the Vietnam era M1A1. That was the most popular gun that sold. And that's why they eliminated several of the other things in that line before eventually even the sales on that, I guess, kind of sucked and went the way of the whatever to history. Yeah, I know. I built, I'm not going to say anything, but I used to have quite a few of them. I used to buy them 5 or 10 at a time. Actually, if I dig that picture out, I'll post it somewhere. I'll post it. Are you on the MeWe? I don't know if you were around by then. Nah, not really. That stuff don't come off. Usually it stays on because my fire brass, I can still pick out the S&Bs from the rest because that's on all their 32 ammo. You know, clean the gun after you shoot it. That helps too. Probably because that's a date shift. It's kind of like, let me see. I was going to bring it up. I couldn't find the ammo, but I did eventually. Mm. Oh God, I always lose stuff. I'll give you a good example. Some guy traded me some ammo. It was 9mm Mac. Yeah, shit. But from the box that he gave me, I could tell from the box that ammunition was made back in the 1980s. And I forget what it was. He had that, and he had the little 16 round cardboard boxes. They were buried in price. So I don't know if that was Chinese ammo or what. I fired it in my one gun. But yeah, that's stuff that was around from the 80s. And he swapped me all of this for box of ammo that I had on my table. So it was kind of come on. All of it went off. There's a bunch of I made the video where I was just out shooting the pistols, burning the stuff up. Yeah, J&G Shales. Yeah, I had a bunch of them. And those were decent builds. If you got a good receiver and put it together right and had the right tools, you had to buy all the tools. I had all that crap. You could build an outstanding gun. Okay. And I mean that's what got me is what AK-47s go for now. And if you did it right with a matching receiver and got headspace right before you set that pin in there, instead of doing it by eye, I still got the headspace gauges. If you knew what you're doing, you could easily build a decent rifle with those kits. And I think I still got one. I'll drag it out. I got a 74, and I bought one of the Tantals, but I didn't get the fancy receiver. I just made it like a 74, and it's still, they shoot good. They're good guns. Yeah, now I'll drag that out because I got some steel case wolf ammo's been lying around for a while, and we might as well burn that up too. Have a day at the range. Yeah, but my days of kit building are over. You have to do it right. You have to invest in a lot of stuff. There's a lot of money, and you got to make more than one. And then the ATF's going to come down on you like a ton of bricks. You know. But then again, I think I seen PSA had a sale on their generic plastic stocked AK-47 for about, I think, $5 or something. I can look that up. Yeah, neither do I. I don't buy anything. Yeah, because the red ones were built in the 90s. That's telling me it's the 80s that it was those cartridges were uh, it's like the primers. They changed the boxes because they know people are selling stuff that's 30, 40 years old. I bought some Federals that it was the 1970s or the early 80s when they changed the boxes. That's why they'll do it. See, you got those. I bought some red ones, and it's like the box I got. You see if that damn thing is out there. Hold on a minute, guys. Yeah, sorry about that. I found it. I had it out my gun. This here, okay, 9mm Mac. That's a fairly old. That's an old box. That's from the 80s. Okay, and this thing, look at it. It's been around. This, I don't know. The guy was lugging a whole bunch of it, and I had two of them. I lost this. I put this somewhere because I was going to shoot it. I actually reloaded the brass, and you know, the stuff is just as good as the day it was made. Doesn't have a sealant on it though. The 32 does. All the 32 I buy from them does have that sealant on there. Oh, this is reloaded. I'm sorry. It's my reloads in the box. I already fired it. This is Starline brass. Okay, I thought I still had a box of it, but that's what it came. And I reused the box. Yeah, I made a point of firing it because it was so old. I just wanted to burn it up. No, it wasn't. I don't think S&B made that's commercial. They wouldn't put corrosive in it because I did reload the brass. It had a red type of sealant on it, and I found the other two little small boxes that were with it. They were bared and primed, and that I think that was Chinese ammo, so I just left that crap at the range. Yeah, because it's my reloads. I repurposed the box. I thought when I found this, I thought I had two of them. And I thought that I shot the old ammo. And then when I found this box, it was all mixed in with stuff. I said, oh, I must have missed that other box. And I just had it there and I thought it was the old S&B ammo, but it's not. It's all Starline brass, and it's my reloads that I made because I found it with those other two older boxes of ammo. Those were the ones I got from that guy. That's why I thought this was S&B. It's not. This is my reloads, which my reloads work just damn good. I don't know if I made a members video showing you the recipe that I use and how I do it. But in the Max, that's all I shoot now. Is my reloads. Any commercial or old military stuff, I've gotten rid of a long time ago. And a few times that I shoot them, it's good. I don't carry them for self-defense. I got other things. No, I kind of don't. It's gotten expensive and it's gotten hard to find. Best thing to do is just go on Ammo Seek and look. Uh, and I've caught primers and ammo and flash sales on Ammo Seek. Just bored at night, nothing to do, and that. We'll go look and see what they got. Right now, I'll give you an answer. Do 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 do. My caliber. 9mm Mac. 39 cents a round. SGA. Military surplus. Let's see what the hell that is. Oh, that's a tin of it. Yeah, and it's in them little cardboard boxes with the red sealer on there. See where it's from. Non-corrosive. It's Cyrillic, 1990. Circle 10, Bulgaria. They got some Bulgarian surplus, which if you got to buy the fish tin, it's going to be $500. Comes out 93 cents a round. Yeah, they're all Privy Partisan. SG is 419. Is that commercially boxed? Yes. Privy's good, and it's 40 some around, depending. It's like $20 for a box of 50 at 41.90 cents around, 42 cents around. But yeah, it's expensive. That's why people, you're looking at a 20 for a box like that. Yeah, I had stuff 7.62 by 25, an 80 round carton was $8 or something when I bought it. Hey, how's it going there, my friend? Yeah, that's just, see, we were getting all the stuff from Eastern Europe, and all of them, when they went to NATO, they're not using the 9mm Mac. Even the Poles, they all went to 9mm. The police, Warsaw Police Department uses, what the hell would they tell me it was? They're German-made pistols. Walters. They were all issued Walters. And when I was there in 2006, some of the rural areas, they carried a mixture of P64s and 81s, but they're being phased out because they're probably getting, and they did make their own 9mm, two versions. One of them didn't work out too well. I don't know if they have a version that's being produced in Poland, and eventually as they get those issued, and I guess all of them, if they join NATO, all of them are using 9mm. So that's Romania, Hungary, the Czechs, all of them. And so I doubt, there may be surplus piles of ammo lying around, but I doubt you're going to see it like in the old days that it was current production and they were, it wasn't that old. Like that there is 1990s. So ain't too bad. New York City, and you survived, huh? Yep. I don't know. How are things over there? We don't hear nothing good. Of course, the city's big. It ain't everywhere. I kind of know that last few times I was there. Yeah, I mean, that was all made in the Russian plants. And some of the stuff, it was good. Some of it, the steel cased ammo was crappy. Matter of fact, I think I still got some Silver Bear boxes I put 380 or something in. Best one for any of them cartridges like the Mac or anything is PPU. Same with their 380. That's what I carry in the Spectrum 380 pistol. That was the only off the shelf 380 ammo. I never got a light strike or nothing in that gun with. And that's what, where it is. If I carry that, that's what I use. Their 380 ammo and their 9mm Max good. Their 6.5 Grendel ammo is good. And if I go to 6.8 Remington, I use S&B. The S&B ammo is what I like. Just as nasty as I expected it to be. Yeah, they got some issues there. They had a guy, I don't know where he was. He just walking down the street, just the garbage and stuff. That's always been a bone of contention there in the city since the 70s. So it's nothing new, you know. But yeah, well, good. Be back in North Carolina where you be safe, more or less. Yeah, they didn't have. They used to make them with a metal case, didn't they? I don't know if they're reloadable. I don't think they were, but they were made with a. There's something from overseas. They made them with a bimetal case for the shotgun shells. Yeah, because I forget when they were talking about it, they were talking about the price increase, and there was a lot of videos that are in warehouses, and they were showing that the Wolf ammo was coming in, and the guy said, I don't know if this was 2020 or what, but there's going to be a big price increase and all this other stuff, and because we used to get, I remember buying 7.62 by 39 Wolf ammo, a case of it, like 1,000 rounds for 110 bucks. Okay, and I got pissed off. I went somewhere and bought a case of it. It was 100. It went up from 110, 120. This one local shop, I think I had to pay 175 for it or something. Yeah, so I guess now I should see. Let's see what the hell steel case ammo is. Now we're here. Bum, bum, bum. Rifle caliber. You're looking at 45 cents a round. That ain't bad because that's brass cases. But that's a case, 840. It's a $300 bill. You still can get it for, of course, they charge you $9 for a box, then charge you, $100 to ship the box. Free shipping, 480 rounds, 225. I still got some Ingman. I think that's what I bought one time. Steel case stuff is just as expensive as the Ingman. See, that's where I actually got a whole pile of brass cartridges here, and you start getting into the steel. The steel is almost 50 cents a round. Kaiser, Wolf. So I don't know how they're still getting Wolf in, you know. But that's weird. Where's the steel cased ammo? I'd rather buy that Ingman that's reloadable brass than pay another 2 cents more for steel cased ammo. It's not a lot of work. For Golden Tiger, that's still steel case stuff. Yeah, but at least I can reload the brass cases. Okay, and I can make a load that I like better. The steel stuff, blasting ammo. I haven't shot my AKs in a bit. Yeah, I got a Bellum and I got the Ingman. I don't know if I fired the Ingman or not. I just bought it. I don't know. They may have opened, or somehow they're getting the steel, because I know there were several U.S. companies using prime steel case or steel case cases to load ammo. I forget. There was some ammo coming up that was manufactured in the U.S. on a steel case. So they were probably buying it primed or something from somewhere and then just loading it here. So a lot of things. You don't know anymore, because you got to watch out too. You look at some of this ammo, even though it's got a brand name like Federal or something, you got to read the box, because some of them will say can be made with foreign components, okay, but assembled here in the U.S. A lot of the Fiyoshi ammo is manufactured in the U.S. with Fiyoshi made brass or something. I don't know how it is. Ever since the plague years, God only knows what goes on. That could have been sitting in a warehouse somewhere. Okay. It just didn't sell. You never know. Could have got lost. Okay. They could have had cases and cases of the stuff, just got set back, wasn't selling, and they forgot about it. Then who knows? Because I remember the guy came to me with a Ruger 22 pistol, and he bought it, never shot it. He was asking me about it, and I said, when did you buy this? And he told me it was like 2021 or something. Well, I went and looked up the serial number. The friggin' thing was made back in 2014, because Ruger, any Ruger gun, you put serial number on there, it tells you when the gun was made and what year it was shipped. And they stopped making them in 2016. So that gun was made in 2014, and he didn't buy it till like 2020, 21. So, okay. Some of the stuff languishes. He bought it new in a retail store. Didn't buy it used or online. He bought it brand new in a retail store. Uh, it could have. That's the Chinese do that. Send crap to Mexico and they say it's assembled or packaged there. I don't know if they do it with the ammo. Uh, but yeah, you do see some of it coming up. Uh, but I don't know. Cheap Frankie Spas 12. Well, that's going back to the big decade when those were popular. And I don't know if I've ever seen one or not, but something like that, I doubt you're going to find a cheap one. That was a big thing back in the day. I haven't heard anybody even mention something like that in years. The only shotguns I'm into is like the old 870s or damn Mossberg 500. That's what we were issued in the military. You know, those things, they're not expensive and they do work. You know, well, hell, I got my $100 specials there. 250. I don't know. I haven't heard anyone mention one of those firearms in years. In years. Oh, but yeah, I don't know now. Well, now we're down to 16. We had about 20 people here. I don't know if anybody was into the MeWe thing. Tried getting that running again. And trying to see. Really don't have a lot of comments. No, not some of the guys, but nothing spectacular. It's a social networking thing, kind of like Facebook type of deal. And we all went there. A friend of mine from the range told me to do it because that was 4 years ago was a big thing. Okay, and it kind of faded. What it is and I think you got to pay. I think you got to pay almost $5 a month membership to get in there to get all the features to work. And a lot of people don't like that. But the thing was, I set up two private channels. Okay, one was for the Carcano rifle, and one was just called the Cobra 49 Refugee Camp. And the reason I set them up is because of all of YouTube's restrictions. Like you see Megabait here saying that he's getting blocked and he has to have multiple things, okay, to where we could go there and in the private groups, you have your chats and that. You have to, I have to let you into the group. But it was allowed to discuss prices and buy, sell, and trade like reloading tools and that. Nothing illegal or nothing outside of the normal laws. But if you wanted to sell some ammo, components, reloading tools, things like that, which at one time you could do that on YouTube, just now you can't. They'll eradicate your channel. So and also the thing, they burned me for making ammo. Like if I make a video casting bullets, they call it making ammo, and they just take them down. So it's weird, okay. And this was a way we freely talk and chats. And I told the guys, I made this thing, your members here. If you want to do stuff between each other, that's fine. You got a platform here where you can talk and you ain't got to worry about, somebody closing your account down. No, the MeWe. No, I still have it. I just haven't shot the 308s. I may take them out. I'm just working on 223s now, retro guns and ARs. The ARs are more popular. The larger guns, when you start talking $1 a rattle, that puts a lot of people out of that game. Okay, but you can get one, I think at PSA or somewhere, or they're under 7, 6 something. I'd jump on it. They're not a bad gun. I know Century Arms has a bad rap, but that friggin' thing works fine as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I was half tempted. If I had to spare cash, I'd buy a second one anyway and wait for the price to go up on them years later. Discounts were. Well, that's one way of looking at it, but there was no such thing this year. Usually they wait for the big rush and the thrill. And one guy I know told me his wife woke up at 5 in the morning Friday morning and went out somewhere to go shopping. First round of it, it's like a tradition. But it's like our one commenter said, I don't leave the house on that day, which is basically the way I did it. I did it once for your entertainment last year. I went and bought that little side by side shotgun and the 22 online. Never again. I don't even really know if they had any specials. They had something listed online at Sportsman's Warehouse where, like you're saying, they just lowered the price a few dollars on all kinds of stuff. Actually, there was only like 4 guns. They were priced under like 300 beans or $400. A couple 22s and something like that. But yeah, there's the TVs. When I went to Costco, that was like bedlam in there every year on that Black Friday when they open the doors. The TVs are all right by the electronics is right by the main opening there. It was a 3-ring circus, but nope, it's our economy collapsing. Yeah, just look it up. I think you can get yourself a thing on there for free. It's just the perks. I have no idea. But I just had somebody that was hanging in there all these years, over 4 years, and this one guy was saying something to me, and I kind of felt bad because he did post a lot of stuff, and I communicated with him. So I went and fired it back up. I'll be throwing some things there, see if I can get, because I know a lot of my personal friends were on there, and they never asked me when I seen them about it or ever mentioned going back there again. DF12 or FD12. What the hell is an FD12? I can't pull every gun. Just tell me what it is. Oh, not anymore. Not anymore. Turkish bullpup shotgun. Yeah, whatever. They're all very similar, and they go by different names. And I had that one. I kind of didn't like it. Uh, yeah, that's they're all about in the same category. I guess what's his name here was talking about one that's kind of expensive, a little bit different, I think. But they make so many different types, and I had a bunch of them. Fortunately, I was able to liquidate them because people have a tendency they really like them, and kind of washed my hands of it and moved on to something else. But if you get them and they work, kind of looking at this one, they come in a case a little bit better. But bullpup, yeah, I'm looking at the little preview. Black Aces. They had several other different. I think they had the folding pump and the folding saw. Didn't Black Aces have that? That was something. That was kind of tempting to get that, but I don't know. How many shotguns do you need? And another thing, you point the thing, you fire buckshot, it tears the piss out of everything. It's kind of about it. I mean, if you're firing at cans and watermelons and that, but I can't do that at my range. Yeah, it'd be fun. You burn up some ammo then. But yeah, I noticed that even with the guns. What's his name? Made a video. Battlefield Curator. He likes his idealistic things. He's a good guy. But he went and made one Thursday, and basically he said these guns have been on sale for months. Okay, a lot of these surplus guns, and they've actually lowered the price months ago. There is no, I don't know. I think one place was selling magazines and stuff, Black Friday sale, but no, it's not. And things are not moving. Guns are not moving. Appliances are not moving. The economy is in very bad shape. If you follow gold and silver, I think silver went up to $56 an ounce. We were all wondering if it ever go to 50 when it went to 53, 54, but now it's sitting spot is $56 an ounce. That is not good at all. It's not a good sign for the global economy as a whole. Okay, and I think several people have said these next few months. One guy said if the crash or some real serious financial stuff didn't happen this month, but before Christmas, and if it doesn't, the real bad times will be happening in the first quarter of next year. So we should all stand by. I have no idea what's going to happen, and it is kind of scary. Well, if you got a pile of it and you're making out, okay. Uh, but the thing is, liquidating it. That's always the problem. It's one thing to have that stuff, but turning it into usable cash, you know. The Alpha Max pistol, I'm going to post a video on it. It's for the price. It's good, and it kind of depends what you're going to do with it. I mean, it's extremely inexpensive, but I've noticed in firing just like 200 rounds that there's wear on it and that. The only good thing is if you buy the gun, register it with the company, get the warranty, activate your warranty. That warranty states that if that frame cracks or breaks, you send the gun back to them and they'll replace the broken parts. They won't give you money. And if they can't replace the broken parts, they'll replace it with a product that they have that's similar for the same value. So that in itself is a good thing. Personally, the durability of the gun over time, depending on how you use it. Now, there's people that go and just shoot them, and they're fine. How much they shoot them or what they do with them, I don't know. But I have noticed, I did a video where I seen wear on the bolt and that, because that frame flexes. Okay. If you do mag dump after mag dump and like shoot 1,000 rounds through it in one day, I don't know how long it's going to last. But if you just take it out and shoot it a little bit every now and again, you know, and don't do nothing really harsh to it, it it's so for the money, it's okay, you know. But the only problem is the way things are now. For a little bit more money, you can get something similar that's made out of aluminum and not the polymer. That's the thing. You know, about a year ago, there was a huge price difference. Now there's not. But it's worked for me. Mine has not malfunctioned the whole time. Yeah, well, the way it's going to go for you, the thing's either going to work real good, you know, and trust me, clean that oil and stuff out of there. And be careful, because I found one of them with a silica bag in there. And the guy goes, well, that's nothing. It's just a piece of paper or something. Well, a local gun shop got one in. The guy pulled the thing out of the box, loaded it, went to fire it, and it had a silica bag in the barrel, and it blew the whole barrel apart. Okay. And on a bullpup, that would be a very unpleasant experience. Fortunately, it was in a long gun. And when the barrel blew, it wasn't close to his hand or face. But yeah, just be careful, clean that, because that thick coating in there, when you fire that gun, it turns like into tar. And then, you know, you got to take it apart and clean it. Taking them apart's kind of a pain in the ass. So, you know, but at least clean some of it out. And it'll probably work real good, or may have some glitches. But the thing is, don't create the glitches, put it that way. Because the guy that had that AK shotgun like that, one of those, he went and fired it without cleaning it, and there's an adjustable gas thing in that. That whole thing was like frozen on there. He had to put penetrating oil or something to break it loose. He had a hell of a time pulling it apart to clean it. But yeah, man, make a video. Like to see it for werewolves. Yeah, all right. I'm curious, is guns are going to be dumped, but then again, I know what I got, and you're not going to pay what I'm asking for. I won't sell it. Well, yeah, you know, the thing is, I don't need to sell any of my guns to pay my bills. And it's just there are these periods where when they go crazier, like now with the economy crashing, nobody's going to pay you anything for your guns. Nobody's going to buy them at any price, put it to you that way. Because I've asked around trying to sell one or two pieces, and people just think it's not that they don't want to pay me, they just don't have the extra money. And there's a bunch of guys I know out of work right now. Actually, two or three of my friends have been out of work. One for 4 or 5 weeks. The other one, he got canned from his job because he's a smart ass. But I don't know what the hell he's going to do. He has to go find another job. But yeah, right now, you know, it ain't the thing to do. You know, it depends what you bought the guns for. Me, my collection's my collection. Uh, if the economy sucks for a couple years, I just won't sell none. There's some guns I know that what I paid for them, never get my money out of them, and I ain't selling them for a third of what I paid for them. So, yeah. but it's going to be bad. And if you, because a lot of people will spend something to buy a real expensive gun, and that's how I got my H bar. And then something happens, and you need money, and you just drop a good chunk of change on this. Well, hey, I changed my mind. I want to sell it back. You're going to lose. Or if you're desperate, that's another thing. You don't ever go to any place and try to sell a gun and look like you, because they will screw with you and everything else. Okay. So yeah, selling is not a good thing now. Yeah, because I was amazed. They put about 10 silica packs in them friggin' boxes with the shotgun. And I always clean that gooey stuff the hell out of there. And when I went, I seen, what is that? And there was one wedged in there. And then some guy, when I said that, I said, hey guys, when you check these guns out, make sure you check the barrel. And some idiot put a comment down, well, it's only a piece of paper, shoot it out. Excuse me. When I told my neighbor who hung out at this one gun store, he's real good friends with the owner, so he's like down there bullshitting with the guy all the time. He said, no, they got one at the shop, and that's what the guy did. He got the thing, went out, took it out of the box, okay, unwrapped the plastic, took it out of the box, loaded it, went to fire it, and the damn thing, the barrel exploded, okay. He goes, luckily, of course, when he sent it back and said what happened, they just sent him another $100 gun, okay, But parts, service, things like that, because they're just buying these from overseas and selling them. They're not gunsmiths, they're not a gun shop, okay? And that's why when parts, pieces, they have very few of bits and pieces for support. That's one of the downsides of these type of firearms. Okay, yeah. Runs high and low breaths. I got some that do the same thing, made in Turkey. Oh, they do. That's why me and my wife went to Costco. She bought a bunch of things on sale in the food department. Uh, that's what we did. Yes, no, Friday. Today's Sunday. I keep forgetting. Lose track of time. Eating turkey and just watching TV. Well, wants, needs. Not all people have a very good outlook on life. You know, I've heard of people buying TVs so big they don't fit into their living rooms. Okay. And I forget what the hell we got. I measured the alcove, the way this house was built. It's a newer house. They built a little alcove, and the TV we got just fits in there. We can't go any bigger, and it's fine. But yeah, it's always a status symbol, man. Your car, your TV, your guns. You know, thank you very much. Yes, and God bless you too. But yes, it's going to be, not to end this on a sad note, but things are going to get rugged because already these wars are escalating with silver shooting up. It's going to be precarious times, put it to you that way. And we have to be careful what we do. I myself, you know, I had a couple projects and I got some ammo, so I have plenty of time to go out and be shooting guns, be making a lot of videos on comparing the different things and things like that. And some of my reloads and my finished guns, I like to take them out, since you guys been mentioning the AK-47s and all that other stuff, I should dust them off, get them out of storage, and go pop some rounds off there. 'Cause I haven't fired them in quite a while. And then when I did take one out, guy goes, "Why don't you make a video discussing that gun a little bit?" Now, it's what people want. They like that. So that's probably what I'm going to be doing here the rest of the year going into next year. And that, but now it is time to pay attention to things a little closer, especially your finances, because I have no idea where this is going. You know, being retired, it kind of doesn't really harm me. I'm not like these people, like my friends that, you know, work dried up, or one guy's just out of work. There's a lot of that going around, a lot of downsizing and that. So yeah, I feel sorry for these people, because very uncertain what's going to happen here, you know. But anyway, so that's what I got planned going on. And yes, we've already went well over an hour and a half, so I'm getting tired. It's a good discussion. We talked about some things, you know. Glad you guys got some 32 ammo. And chances are it's good quality stuff. If it was stored right, it'll be okay for you. It's just I get suspicious of places like RIT, you know, kind of scary place. But all right, and everyone's saying goodbye. I will see you fellas next week, okay, at the same time. All right, thank you all for coming.